The past comes back to haunt Bert Kreischer when a murderous mobster tries to kidnap him to atone for his crimes. With help from his estranged father, Bert must retrace the steps of his younger self as a sociopathic crime family goes to war.
The Machine, really cool. So like he talks about in the synopsis, it like there's like two different timelines, not two timelines, but two different things going on. There's present day and then back then, because it's kind of the same adventure he kind of goes on.
Yeah.
But no, it's incredible. I had a really fun time watching this movie. Like I said, I wasn't really looking forward to it at the beginning of the year. Didn't we do a top 2023 movies? And I don't think we talked about it, or at least I didn't talk about it. We might have touched on it a
Not
little
sure.
bit. Remember, we were like the movies we want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might have touched on it a little bit. I don't really remember. But no, this wasn't a movie I was looking forward to until Brayden pointed it out and told me what the story was and how it was the Burt Kreischer machine thing, and that's kind of how I got into it. And yeah, man, we had such a fun time with this. Saw this with some of the bros. Had an
Oh, heck yeah.
absolute blast, dude. And one thing I love about this, and what I love about his approach, Bert's approach is, and he talked about this on an interview recently on how he wanted to bring back that raunchy comedy again, that comedy that no one cares. Like he just
Yeah.
doesn't care what he says. He just doesn't. It doesn't care, bro. He's gonna do what he
It's
wants to
real
do and make
life.
the comedy
You
he
know what I
wants to
mean?
do.
Some real
Yeah,
shit.
man. Yeah, and I think since he wrote this and acted in it, didn't direct it, but I'm sure he had a lot of say and stuff. You
Yeah.
feel that throughout the entire film. You really
Yeah.
do. You feel his presence there, even when the scene that he's
And
not
that's what I was
in.
gonna say.
Feel
It
it.
felt literally like it almost felt like him on stage. Like you could
Yeah.
just envision him telling the story on stage, and this is what you'd picture in your head, but we're finally seeing it play out on screen. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
hmm
So
Yo,
it was really cool.
and because it's and I want to talk about some of the cons I have with the movie here. Uh, because it was one of it's really his first movie project, there was a lot of problems with it. Like when you're sitting here
Oh
watching
yeah,
it, there are some issues. And one that really jumped out at me was the pacing. Like this is a comedy movie and you got to make
for
sure
sure.
you get the timing right, especially with this film because it really relies on that comedy.
Yeah.
And when I was watching it, and I don't know how you feel about this, Brayden, I want you to weigh in on it, dude. That the pacing just felt off. It felt very fast paced when it needed to kind of slow down a little bit. And it's like, dude, just take a breather. Let us like, especially with comedy movies, let us digest what we just heard. You know, I'm dying laughing right now. Give me a second before you tell another joke because then that next joke's not going to hit me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally I feel like what they did is a lot of the comedy for me hit, and I feel like it did for a lot of people, but then like you said, it felt pushy a little bit. Like the whole thing had to be funny. Like you know but then with doing that, like it's weird because they were pushing it, but they were conscious of the fact that it doesn't need to be funny the whole time. So like when you got the funny bits, they were in like I feel like clumps. Like you'd get a lot of them at a time. And then you'd go 20, 30 minutes. Not really, not 20, 30 minutes. You get my point. You go a little duration, not really giggle at all, not really find anything funny. It's more of like storyline failure that needs to happen. And then I get 40 jokes again, which is half of them hit. And so the movie ends up being decently funny, but I feel like you said, if they would have given us that time to digest and more properly paced those story moments that need to be filler, I think the whole thing could have been funny, like every scene. I think every scene could have been hysterical.
This is why I love this guy. He brings up great points. One something that you
Oh,
said, dude, my guy.
my God, man.
Something that this dude said, and that really jumped out at me was this is based off of a true like stand up story.
Yeah.
And you mentioned this, I think, Brayden. I think it was you walking out. You were like, "Man, I feel like they tried to follow the story and sacrifice to follow the story." Does
Yeah,
that make
yeah, yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
Like, it was cool because I'm like, after listening to the story in the stand up special where he talked about it, it was funny because I'd be like, "Oh, I remember when he said that. I remember when he said that." But at the same time, like you said, you would go 10 to 15 minutes with nothing. And even though it's a good story, and I love a good story-driven movie, this is not a movie that necessarily needs that much story. You just want to laugh. You go into this movie wanting to laugh. And I think that's kind of what got me because I'm sitting there and I'm like,
It
and
jumbled
I was
back
kind of
and
dozing
forth.
off at some points.
No, yeah, you know me. I knocked out at a period. I woke back up. It wasn't very long. I remember, you know what I
Hey,
mean?
everybody that's watching, watching this, dude, I gotta show you all the pic, dude. I gotta show you the pic.
Dude, I was
Look at my boy. Look at my
Dude,
boy.
look at that gang, gang, gang. But no, bro
Oh,
woke me
man.
up. Thank God. Because dude, if you
Yeah.
didn't, I would have been pissed.
That's what
I
I was
mean,
thinking. I was like,
it's
bro,
the
he's gonna be
idea.
mad if I don't.
We're gonna do it for the pod. I'd be sitting here like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Exactly.
Oh shit. I can't even remember.
But no,
What
yeah,
were
no.
we talking
How
about?
you were, you kind of, it was just kind of like funny and then not funny, funny not funny type thing.
Yeah, yeah. And with the whole thing with the story, it's like it fluctuated in this the awareness that we bring up in every I was KO'd, bro. I was KO'd, bro. I'm sorry. It fluctuated. The one thing that we bring up in every review is if a movie knows what it's aware of itself. I feel like this movie. Get the fuck out of
I'm
here, Sam.
sorry, dude.
I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed. So the movie, something that we always look for is it being aware of itself. And I think for a good majority of it, it was aware of itself. But I feel like a lot of the time, it did try to
Yeah.
be more than it was. And that's where it kind of felt a more splotchy than it needed to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that goes back to Bert's inexperience when it comes to
Writing
filmmaking.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he just tried a little too hard. Maybe came at this for more of a stand-up kind of thing, more of a
Mhm.
set experience. And I think that's maybe what he was going
That's
for, and it didn't
and that's
translate
what I was
as
saying.
well.
It kind of feels like that. You know what I mean? Like you feel like it's a comedy show being told out, and you're just envisioning this picture along with it. You know what I mean?
Oh, I really like that. Actually, that's a great point.
You know,
Which is good in
so
some way. It has
it's
its
good.
cons with it. You know what I mean?
hmm It's good in its own
Um,
light.
yeah, yeah, and like even though like I said he wasn't an experienced guy, and you still see some of that inexperience. I mean, live it's still great, and we can talk about the comedy. You know, excuse me, guys. Even though you do go those periods with nothing, and then you get the comedy again, and like I said, you would maybe like half the jokes would hit for me. When they hit, they hit. I
They
mean,
were
they
funny.
hit great, dude. I mean,
Yeah,
there's so
the
many good
theater was
moments in it,
laughing.
and it gets funnier throughout the film,
Yeah,
which is kind of weird. But it gets
that's
funnier toward the end.
but that's what makes it so good. Like
Yeah.
that's what makes it redeemable because of that aspect. I 100%
hmm
agree.
Yeah,
And you
man.
love the characters more and more as they go. Even like the Russian lady. Like at the beginning, I'm like,
Yeah.
God, who the fuck is this lady?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
are you? But by the end, you're like, Yo, that's my dog.
Yo, you know what she reminded me? She reminded me of the lady. Remember the lady from Madagascar 3? Is that
No,
yeah,
yeah.
champion. Yo,
Yo,
I
absolutely.
vividly remember going into the St. Cloud Twin in like 2012 to watch that movie, bro.
Oh my God,
So many memories, man. So many
dude.
memories.
Oh,
But
that was one of my favorite movies for a while.
it's good. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen Madagascar 3, there's this Russian lady. She's the
Go
villain. She
check it
tries
out. We're
to
doing a
kill the
review on
lion and
it.
stuff. Yeah. Let's talk about it right now, actually. Um, but no, man. Yeah, the comedy hit though. Like when it really hit, it really hit. And like you said, she was hilarious. The when this is a spoiler review, when she gets like the thing in her leg and he finds her again, he's like, "Let's get the
Yeah.
whore in the house." You know,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
he
yeah.
says.
No,
And she
and
brings her in.
because this is something, it's a little separate from the comedy, but with characters, dude, I was telling like the
Yes.
boys and stuff like that. They led the film for me. Like I love Bert, you know what I mean. And for his first acting job, was he the best actor in the world? No. Was it obvious he was not an actor? Yes. Someone like Chris Rock, who can be a comedian and can act. You know, Chris Rock, I feel like did a little bit better as an actor,
Hmm.
but Bert, in those moments where he is comfortable and he knows where he's doing and he's playing to those advantages, he's a phenomenal actor. You know what I mean? It was just those scenes where it kind of felt a little scripted. You know what I mean?
And he needs structure.
He needs
I
some
think
little
that's
more
what it is.
structure.
He needs somebody, and
That's totally true.
Patrick, our buddy Patrick, pointed this out. He said, he says, you could tell that there's points where he just went too far with it, and it's almost like and because he is new, and I think every actor is like this. Sometimes you need someone to kind of pull you back a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Usually it's push you forward, but a comedian's gonna go too far, especially
Yeah.
Bert. If you know
Yeah.
Bert's podcast, Bert always gives away too much information on stuff. He doesn't know when to shut up, and
Yeah.
and he's someone that you always need to bring back. Most people aren't like that. So maybe the people around him aren't used to saying, yo, dial it back. They're probably used to, especially in the acting community. I've always been told, yo, do more. And I'm going to use same way, Brayden.
Do more,
We want to see
absolutely.
more of that. You know what I mean? And maybe everybody didn't know how to tell somebody just to dial it back a little, just a tad,
Less is
just
more.
yeah,
Less is
just less
more.
is more. But it worked great though, man. He was hilarious, and his laugh at the end, like, and that's another thing too. You could tell the genuine moments in this movie. I mean, there's genuine moments in this film.
You could tell they really were just loving themselves, you know.
They were, and Mark Hamill, great dude. It was so freaking
Bro,
cool.
phenomenal.
Great guy.
Great guy.
Dude, and I heard some of the Joker voice as well. Was that the only one, or did you hear that a little bit
Nope.
too?
Definitely
Which
at
is
the
so
end.
trippy. It's so
Yeah.
trippy because in most of his
Yeah.
other roles you don't hear it, and then this one for some reason, like you said, when he was high on the coke and everything, yo, he
Yes.
could really hear it. You know what I mean? And the laugh too. I was like, bro, where's
There-
Robert
even like the
Pattinson? You know?
literal, like there was the last scene, and it was like him when she said something about like how he talked about how they resolved them, like being
Yeah.
they resolved their thing, him and his
Yes.
dad. I could literally like the last fucking line he said, I could literally hear it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
like, yo,
And
I
and, and,
literally got transported. It's like, yo, where's Riddler?
and and even like but like even like the serious thing when he was talking about his dad in that last scene, there was like a little bit of a serious moment there. It's like he
Yeah,
was talking about his real dad. Like there was connection there
absolutely.
for sure, and I thought that was beautiful. And there's some of his stuff with his wife and his kids. Like there were some serious moments there that
Well, I don't know if you heard
it was
Cass.
great.
His real wife was in the film. I thought that was pretty cool. She was that lady at the beginning that was like, he was like, and people that don't even like me. Hi, Jen. And then
Oh,
he was
that's
like, yeah, look
her.
at that bitch. Yeah, he was
Oh,
like,
that's crazy.
yeah,
That's
apparently that's his wife.
wild.
Yeah.
Yo, that's dope. Dude, she did that line perfectly too. It was
Dude,
perfect,
that
dude.
shit hit so
Yo, it
well.
was that's
He was
what
like,
that's
look at
probably
that
what
bitch.
it just goes, "Hi." It was perfect. It was perfect. It was perfect. No, she did that's so funny, dude. She's not even an actress and she did it that well.
Yeah.
That is so funny. One of the best parts of the movie for sure. Um but yeah, no, I really I thought that like you said, man, there's good moments in this movie, and I think it really makes up for the the lack of engagement at some points. You know what I mean, for sure. And I
100%.
think it makes up for it. And I mean, because this is a movie that really relies on that comedy, so that's what we're talking about. I meant to mention this earlier. A lot of M's in that sentence. Sorry. So when you rely too much on comedy, it's good when the comedy hits, but when it doesn't hit, it's a big bummer.
Yes.
And because of the pacing, it kind of really made that even worse.
It's like when the
But
bar is filling up, you lose so much when it doesn't hit. It's little spurts, and then you lose
yep,
so much when one doesn't hit.
yep, that's all it is right there. And luckily the comedy was so good in this movie, which really kind of makes me mad because the potential was there for it to be a really really great film. It's a
Absolutely.
fun film. But
Yeah, no.
but when we do our top 5 comedies, it's not even near these. You know what I mean? This is what it could have been if it was just a little more experience. And
Yeah.
and I know Bert wants to do. What did he mention? He wants to do another movie. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
He wants to do another movie that he says if this does well this weekend, which we're going to talk about the box office stuff in a little bit. He already has another thing he's wanting to do that he does in his set. So you probably know what it is. It's like a bit he does, and it's probably his second biggest bit. And
Oh, okay.
he's gonna try to play with that a little bit. And they gave him $20 million for this movie, so studios aren't afraid.
Yeah.
They're gonna go for it. I think it was who made this? Was it Lions? I don't know. Somebody.
I think
Some
you're
big
right.
studio. Something like Lionsgate. Another thing too I want to kind of go into. I thought the visuals are really well done. That's what I'm talking about. Like it's not like even though this is his first
I
big
actually
thing.
really enjoyed some of the shots for
Yeah.
sure. It was very surprising.
And then you mentioned the transitions too.
Yes, the transitions is what really got me because I feel like a lot of the time in film where you go back and do flashbacks, it's either really like cliche or it's just really abrupt and ugly. And I feel like the transitions, man, from the flashbacks, were just phenomenal. And even just from scene to scene were just phenomenal. Like everything played so smoothly. No shot really like well, we'll get to this, maybe the editing, but the shots themselves didn't really feel clunky. You know what I mean? Everything transitioned beautifully.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
because like
I
you
made that
said,
comment. What was it when he it was like the revolving thing. You see Bert in front of the school, and then it turns, and then you see the road, and then it goes right back to where Bert was standing, and it was the other guy,
Jimmy.
Jimmy. Yeah,
Yeah, or young Bert. Yeah, no, it was
yeah,
great.
quote
It
unquote
was
young Bert. I
it
was like,
was
holy
perfect.
shit.
My favorite, actually, that I really liked. Actually, no, that was probably the best one because he was standing in the exact same place.
It was so good.
No, so basically, like what Braden's talking about is you would go between the past and present and past, and you would
Yeah.
see a location, and then that location would then like slowly transition into the modern time or into the past, and it was just like you said, dude. They had fun with it. They definitely had fun with it. It almost became like the cliche of the movie in a way after
Hmm.
a while, because pretty much every time they go back, they did something, and you go back and forth like 10 times in the movie. So there's like 10 different transitions that
Yeah.
you go back and forth to, but there are a few that stick out. That one where he's standing in the street, the one where they, excuse me, when they walk into the apartment building, remember, and it goes into it or whatever.
Yeah.
At the front desk one, and then the next big one that really jumps out at me is when they're in the bar cab on the train. Remember,
Okay.
and you see them, yeah, and yeah, it was so well done. There's some really good transitions in here that jumped out at me, and like I said, I mean, Bert had something to do with that. Bert's in there, so you got to give credit to him, man. Like I said, he's new, he's fresh,
Absolutely.
but he has a lot of
Definitely
potential. I think,
visionary.
yeah, he has a lot of potential. I mean, think about Adam Sandler's first movie, man. His first movie was Overboard or whatever, and it was
Yeah.
horrible. People hated that movie. I mean, it
Yeah.
has like a 2.7 on IMDb out of 10. Like, it is horrendous, dude. It's bad.
You can't
And
even
I've
find
never
it
seen it.
anywhere.
You really can't. I've never seen it, but people hate it. So my point, though, is he already has a step above Sandler here. I'm not saying he's going to beat. I'm not saying that. Don't attack me. I'm sorry.
What?
Oh, my God.
Cancel.
But I think he has potential to be a really solid comedian actor. He just has to keep
Yeah.
going with it. I mean, this is great for his first entry, you know?
I absolutely agree. I mean, like compared to Fool's Paradise, I enjoyed this film much
Yeah.
more.
100%. 100%. Man, I'm trying to think of some other stuff that I thought. The acting, everybody did their job. Brayden had, I'm going to let him talk about it. Brayden had someone that really stuck out at him.
Yeah, man, dude. That's what I was trying to say with the cast earlier. Dude,
Look up
Bert
their
Kreischer's
names.
wife. The lady that played his wife. Yeah, I had it pulled up a second ago. The lady that played Bert Kreischer's wife, man, she was phenomenal. Like, I'm sorry, I would take her over Amy Schumer 20 days out of the week. Stephanie Kurtzuba,
Yeah.
I would take her 20 days out of the week in every female comedy movie than half the female comedians. Like, she was funny. This movie pushed that limit, and it was actually really good to see
She
her
was in
in
The
it.
Irishman, The Wolf of Wall Street. Yes. Okay, I know who this is now. I know who this is. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, I know
I
I've
was
seen her
like, she looks
somewhere.
so familiar.
Yeah.
I loved her character. She definitely probably was like, she stuck out the most for me. Like, I just love the quick humor like that. It's usually the men who make the raunchy jokes like that and go all at it, but she really, man, kept
She
up.
held her
And it,
own. And
yeah, bro. I
yeah,
actually like was sitting there. I was like, "Is that Bert's real wife?" And then Kyle was like, "No, no, no." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
she did
But
great.
dude, phenomenal. And then
Yeah.
like we were talking about earlier, Jimmy was freaking awesome, dude. No offense to Bert, he did a little bit better for somebody like that stepping into a role.
Yeah.
He did a little bit better, but he freaking killed it. Bert himself didn't do bad, and like that's what I was saying. He played to where he was strong. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I don't mean to get off the topic, but you know the kissing scenes that he did? He said
Yeah.
with Stephanie. That's her name, right?
Bro,
Yeah.
she was like taking off in the second one, bro. I was like, that's
Yo,
passion.
dude, bro. Bert was talking about this in an interview, man. He's like, bro, number one, he felt bad because his wife. He had a good talk with his wife, and he was like, I don't like it. And she's like, no, you're fine. It's acting. What do you mean? Do it. He's probably making a crap ton of money off this movie anyway. And so anyway, he went and oh yeah, he went and did it. And he says it felt so weird because like he's not an actor. He even admitted this. He's like, bro, I'm not an actor. He says it was so weird to fake the love. He says like you kiss somebody, it's just weird. You know what I mean? He says it's hard for it to fake. It's like,
Wow.
bro, he said after the first kiss, he already had a hard on, dude. He says it couldn't stop. He said it couldn't stop. I was like, bro, I could just say, oh my god, bro, I could see Bert just doing that on set, dude. That's horrible. That's horrible. But like, but,
I need five. I need five in
yeah,
my room.
that's what he said. He says, yo, I need a different pair of pants. So like I want to now that's a good question I want to ask you, Brayden. Everybody listening right now, that's something I've always wondered. These actors that do the serious sex scenes,
Dude, like
you
how
have
do
to
you
get a
not?
little bit.
Yeah,
Right?
how is there no way you get? No, I'm in
You have to
1,000%
100%.
agreement.
Like
Yeah,
no
there's
no way off a
way.
kiss, Bert. That's you, dog. I don't know what you're doing, but when it comes to like really like doing the crazy stuff,
Like
dude,
50 Shades?
bro,
No way.
that's bro. How?
Your cocking bulls are hard the whole time.
You
man.
have
I'm
to
sorry.
be. You gotta be, dude.
You are stone savvy at that point. There's nothing to say.
There's no. But anyway, that I just had to bring that up because I remember him talking about it, had me dying, laughing in the interview. But
He's a rookie. What can I say?
it's a rookie, man. When you kiss a beautiful woman like that, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That's so funny though, dude. Yeah, that's kind of all the. You have anything else you want to kind of hit, man?
No, not really. This movie was very I feel like something like The Artifice Girl that has so much depth to it and is so description driven. Um, you're really able to talk endlessly about it. But this movie, the one thing I will touch on because of this is kind of what I think is the movie, and that's why I can't really talk forever about it. The action, man. The action and choreography scenes were freaking awesome.
Yes.
Surprisingly, you know what I mean? Like for what
Yes.
it was, and I've been really happy with that this year. The choreography scenes have been awesome, but for a
Incredible.
Burt Kreischer movie, just them being like you wouldn't, I definitely wouldn't have expected that. But all of the action in this movie was definitely super cool, and I love seeing Mark Hamill, like just like old man Mark Hamill running around and all. It's so funny. It's so cool.
It was great. Yeah, the choreography was awesome, man. And yeah, there was a little bit of John Wick in it. A little bit of
A
John
little
Wick
bit,
type stuff, man. I really and
minus
the
dude. I hate that. I
yeah,
hate it, bro. You know how much I hate it.
it's so good. Yeah. After now they're making. I didn't actually. We'll get that.
The fifth.
Yeah, we'll get that to the acting news. I did not write that down at all. Actually,
Sorry.
let me go and write that down.
You didn't hear that.
Or you bring it up,
You
Brayden.
did
Just
not
bring it
hear
up in
that.
a little bit. But yeah, no, I'm. Yeah, what was it? What were we talking about?
The choreography.
Yeah, choreography. There you go. Beautifully done. The Russian lady, dude, was incredible. I mean, she had some really good
Awesome.
scenes where she was kicking some butt, dude. She was amazing.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that aspect for sure. And yeah, just really well done choreography. I mean, did you see in the credits all the stuntmen? Did you see that?
No.
Dude, when we were like talking in the credits or whatever, you had like a little tiny thing off to the right, the commercial that they did or whatever, like the little
Yeah,
gag.
I was focused on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, there was a stunt coordinator, group team thing that was like 30 seconds long, dude. I mean, it was stupid. Like they had a lot of people behind it because Bird ain't doing none of that.
I was about to be like, yo, Burt ain't kicking
He's like,
his
hey,
legs
tag
up that
me
high,
in,
baby,
dog. That's all that was.
Yo,
But
no way.
yeah.
No.
But no, man, it was a great film overall. If you don't have anything else we can talk about, let's rate it, baby. Let's rate it. I'm
rate this
down.
bad boy.
I am down. You go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, I did it last time.
Dude, I'm gonna hit you with it, and I feel like this is very fair.
This is like a comedy score, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. 7.5.
10.5?
7.5.
Oh, I think I was like, yo, what? 7.5?
For me, that's like I know it sounds like a C, but it's like a C plus B. Like it's a very average movie for me.
So
Maybe
7.5.
7.8.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. No way. Stop. No. Wait till you hear my thought process. I said 7.5 and then I was at 7.8. I'm being dead
way,
serious,
no.
dude.
No, how do we
Dude,
not?
I started my sentence of saying, I was going to say 7.5, but I'm going 7.8.
Bro, we need a tally counter.
Yo,
on
2
how
weeks in a
many
row.
times. 2 weeks in a
And
row.
it happens like that. We go like 2-3 weeks in a row, and then there's like a 4-week
A little
difference,
drought.
and then
But that's why I had to sit there for a minute because I was like 7.8, 7.5.
dude, I was thinking the same thing, bro.
Yeah,
That's
no,
crazy.
Yeah. I put in between right there. It was a very solid movie.
Yeah. So like I was thinking 7.8, but then I'm like, man, there's a lot of like. You need to watch this movie for a second time, but I really did enjoy myself. And like going into this film, I told Brayden, I was like, yo, I don't laugh a lot, like out loud. Like I'll like do like, you know what I mean? But like
It was pretty
this,
funny.
dude, when it hits, bro,
It's
I
probably
was
the funniest
dying
movie we've seen
this year.
so far this year.
100%.
Reviewing this.
Yeah. No, Fool's Paradise is number one.
Oh.
And it was great. I really enjoyed myself and I laughed a lot. I'm going 7.8. Brayden's going 7.8. So 2 weeks in a row, baby. We're here. We're here, baby. Love that, dude. Love that. Yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on the film, or let us know your thoughts.
7.8 for you boys.
And yeah, everybody watching the YouTube and stuff, let us know your rating down below. Let us know your thoughts on the film. If you want more Burt Kreischer films, go for it, baby.